Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be rich again, or have the illusion of wealth at least. Anyway, so I'll just get started because again, the overall analysis has not changed in the last 3 weeks. It's exactly the same. It's the same as we were saying last week. That well, not last week, on Tuesday when we did the stream, and we saw, I suppose, the FOMC meeting took place, and I said, look, I strongly feel as though markets are speaking louder than the Fed or anybody else. I'm pretty sure that we've seen a top in the Dixie now. I'm pretty sure we've seen a top. But again, yes, it's kind of old news. This is week 3 of when I said the top was in. I said it was in here, and then that week, and now finishing off this week. So it does still seem to appear to be the case, despite that move yesterday, which was it yesterday? All on the back of the FOMC meeting anyway. It was yesterday, I think, wasn't it? I can't remember now. So I lose track of days. And I suppose, when it comes to trading in this particular environment, we looked at everything on a weekly. And I said, look, 2 to 6 weeks, everything bounced 2.0, blah, blah, blah. I still think that's the case. In fact, it's nice to see that we're still back at this level after going up and back down again and still not making a new low so far. Because as far as I'm concerned, this 50 exponential is where we're going. And so with that in mind, we've still got a fair bit more to run on all of this. So just to let you know, I'm gonna open this stream up in half an hour to the general public. I used to do this every now and then. I've not done it in months and months and months. I only do it once every now and then, just as a little taster session for everybody else, if anyone else wants to join. So I've got all your comments in here. Again, if there's anyone else late to the stream joining in, which I'm sure there will be, I'll get through all of you guys first, and if there's any time left for anyone else, if and when they join, I'll do their questions. So again, long story short, everything's working exactly the same as what we expected it to. Said to buy the dip yesterday. It was a decent dip buy, let's face it. And now we're moving up, moving all the way up again. And all these setups that we had our eyes on, I say all of them. Well, I suppose all of them, really. Any one of them that had a bullish setup is really going bullish. I'm looking at Holochain here. Don't get confused into thinking that I think something amazing is going to happen. There's a place in my heart for Holochain because I got a 35x out of it at the last entry point that I did. I'm not expecting the same sort of thing to materialize, but I know how Holochain likes to work. It's a pumpy and a dumpy, and it would be nice to get on the right side of a pump, but I'm yet to see a pump signal here. Not even on the 12-hourly really. It's all a bit mixed up, but anyway, that's enough of that. Algorand as well, enjoying that. And obviously XRP, just to recap, obviously XRP, we had this set up in waiting since back over here. I said, look, wait for the 10 exponential, wait for the 10 exponential, wait for the 10 exponential. 10 exponential hit, boosh, and this is the one that should take us up to maybe 4,000 sats. Anyway, that's enough of those sort of recaps. Obviously Bitcoin's now at 21,000. It's all very nice to see. And like I say, it's nice to have the illusion of wealth once again. So Atom, T, Fuel and Gold. I've got gold up here already, actually. Gold to me looks like it's already reached its technical peak for the moment on this particular run. Back up to the top range is the buy zone. But because we came down below it, and now that's a 50 exponential on daily and a Bollinger Band top as well, I wouldn't be looking to buy any here. This has been a decent bounce rate. Again, like I was very surprised to see gold break down, or not break down, but trend down in the way that it did. Weekly on gold, there's not a great deal further to say on that. Hidden bullish divergence there on the money flow index. That's no big deal. 200 simple, 200 exponential, just above this buy zone box. So this would be a crucial area for it. I am bullish on gold, but it's more of a spot position if you were able to do that, which is not really something you can do other than buy and hold gold. As far as the derivatives position, I think that boat has sailed for the moment, and what we really need to see is a breakout from this level, and then maybe at that point then we can trade a trend. But for the moment, there's no trend at the moment. This is just moving up in the face of dollar weakness, which is what we expected to start with. We didn't get any of that, really. It's just all over the place. And I think someone did say on the last stream that there's a new gold deposit or something that they found out in Africa, so that might be part of it. But as far as the chart is concerned, a trend on the higher term time frame is yet to be established. Daily resistance, just check the 4 hourly. It's a savage move today, so yeah, I wouldn't fancy getting in on this at this point now. Again, it was weak before in the face of dollar weakness. Now it's decided to wake up a little. And that's fine, but not a tradable area right now. This, if anything, this is a take profit area, and leave that one alone for a bit to see if a trend can develop. And if a trend develops, I expect a new all-time that trend to move up to new all-time highs over time. So it could be a decent entry if we can reclaim these zones and these levels. Again, this is just I'm still in favour of this all just being a bear market rally. So recognise that this isn't a reversal of anything, but there is a chance that it could be. Like I say, there is a chance as far as cycle and time frame is concerned. There is a chance that this is it now. We're broken out of this giant downtrend now for Bitcoin. This has now, well, we'll look back in years to come at this and go, there's obviously the accumulation zone. You'll have all these popular YouTubers doing fractals of this bear market. This is how it behaved this time around, and if you see the fractal, it looks exactly the same. If I just manipulate the fractal to look the same, go fractal yourself. Right. Let's get started on the rest of them then. So T-Fuel and Atom. I'm not a big fan of fractals. You can make a fractal look like anything. T-Fuel. I can't spell fuel, obviously. And Atom. The Atom's still looking good and strong these days, to be fair. It was a decent trade back in the Everything Belts Part 1, but it seems to have caught the attention of traders now, and they're up for it. So look, daily above all major moving averages as of this moment in time. This is a good look. You haven't got many coins or any charts really that generally look this way. This is pretty sweet, but it's not the be all and end all at the moment. But as far as a chart is concerned, its relationship to the chart and moving averages and position upon all of those is good. Money flow index is relatively high, 84. Again, we can sustain higher moves than this. Atom scares me though, because I know that it does these big moves and big downs, big moves up and downs. You can see all of this, and so it does scare me. We are not yet. We haven't brewed a pump signal on this daily yet. We need this portion to go green is what we're waiting for next. We can see if we can guess when that would possibly be. 25 bars. Oh, so this is going to go green over the weekend. If we close this candle body over here, then yeah, by Monday we'll have a pump signal. Well, not necessarily. We need to make sure that the cheeky span's outside of the price action as well, but likely get a pump signal by Monday. So if that's the case, the pump signal, we could say 16.5 to start with. Maybe extend that a little higher to this little dancey and breakdown area, maybe 1780 thereabouts. I think we'll mark that off if we're talking about a pump on a daily. To be fair with you, this was all front run a little bit on the first pass. That would yield an 18% move. That's all right for a pump signal on a daily. Obviously, we all want more than that, but that's decent return if it were to happen. Again, look, this is working on a significant trend building here on a daily. To get above the 200 exponential, if we can hold support, I know we tried to do it over here. We're at the mercy of the market, though, so the market wouldn't allow for that to happen. But yeah, I quite like it. It's quite like the look of it. Again, like today we are up 8% on this. We're up 4% for Bitcoin. If this is a trend in the making, we need ups and downs, which is why yesterday was a buy the dip. So we could extend this pump today and tomorrow and over the weekend. And we don't know when the next dip will come. But the best way to interpret any dip would be a revisit of the 10 exponential. I know we've had a couple of attempts on this one, and then we broke down to the 21. It all seems very simple in hindsight, doesn't it? Hindsight is, you're always the best trader in hindsight, but it's basically the deal. Same as any old trend. 10 exponential, oh, we break down, oh, scary times, scraping that 21 and then all the way up to the top of the Bollinger Band for now. So I'm in favour of all of this, but I still think treat it like a trend. And if we are going to buy the dip from now on, we buy the dip when the dip happens. We don't FOMO in. I know it's tempting because most of us, or a lot of us, have been waiting for serious moves like this, and unwilling to commit to the market. But if you're going to buy the dip, you've got to wait for the dip. Don't buy these things like this. Same old deal here, isn't it? T-Fuel. So again, hindsight offers the best trades, really, all the way up to 10 exponential. A trend in the making, really. So I wouldn't want to FOMO into this. And again, this could launch all the way up to the 200 by the end of tonight, by tomorrow, by Monday. It can obviously do that. We don't know how much power this current pump has got in it. It's all basically dollar weakness. I think we're probably going to continue to rally through the weekend, to be honest with you. I think we're going to have a green weekend. And I think this is where the Everything Bounce 2.0 starts to pick up pace. As people start to get a bit more confidence that this Everything Bounce is coming on. And probably, top traders, or I say top traders, more popular traders than me with influence over the market, whether it's Twitter or YouTube, start to call for it. Obviously, the best time to call for it is just before it happens, like I did, obviously. But I'm not going to complain with people who are going to ask everybody to FOMO in, because that's it's only going to be more money in our pockets, isn't it? Really, because we got in lower. T-Fuel, I suppose it looks good just on the back of that daily. It just looks like it's ready to pop. Just like everything's probably going to look this way. So this is bullish in a way as well. So we moved all the way up on the 4-hourly, big pullback down and surfed the 50 exponential. So you'll get this sometimes. Where we look for retests of the golden cross, doesn't necessarily have to come down to the 200 exponential. These have diverged quite a lot, and the buyers stepped in at this 50. So reasonable strength even on these short-term time frames. No pump signal yet created. We need this portion to go green. As soon as that goes green, it'll offer a 4-hourly pump signal. I think that's where we basically take out this previous high and then move higher. So if we are looking for higher moves, we'll just go back to the daily to see where those 200s are sitting. So that is 6.6 cents. That's 8 cents. So I think, give or take, probably just front running the 8-cent zone on this current pump that's in the pipeline is a reasonable thing to do. Again, I would wait for the pump signal to be generated. We're going to be spoiled for choice, I think, now at this point for altcoins with good setups. And so if you're gonna if I'm gonna choose any, I will choose the ones with the pump signals on the itchy clouds, and and a decent trend on a daily and a 4-hourly and things like that. I know you can make more money by trading piles of shit and crap, but personally, it's always better to choose the stronger looking chart, even if it's not going to yield as much. It's still about risk to reward. Right, so that's those ones done. Tell you what, I'm going to open up this now to the general public. Again, I do this every now and then, but I've not done it in months, because the general public won't be interested. On days like today, you know what it's like. They're all going to be scratching around for answers. Why didn't anybody tell us about this pump before it happened? Well, they did. It's just unfortunate that I don't market my YouTube channel in any decent way. And my production value is close to the standards of there are no standards on my channel. Right, for the first year I didn't even make thumbnails. I just went there's my video, enjoy it. Right, so let's have a look. Hey, are we breaking up or going to hell? Please, your analysis on Flow and BNB. Let's have a look at those bad boys then, shall we? Flow USDT. Right, so on the daily, again, hindsight traders would look at this and go, there you go. So we moved up, we moved down into the center of the Bollinger Band, more or less. Yesterday was a crazy day. 7 Simple got tagged today is where we're moving from. So it's a bit of a weird kind of chart, weird kind of vibe on this chart, to be fair with you. Divergence on the money flow index and on the RSI as well. So it's a little bit weird, a bit sketchy. I'm not really sure what to make of that on that daily there. 10 exponential being ridden up now, but we've got a negative cross form on this itchy cloud. So it's a bit too weird for me to really say in any particular degree of certainty that this is going to continue up. I expect everything will. That's why I call it the Everything Bounce 2.0. But this chart is definitely messy. What is the size of this? Pullback 16, still down 11. Again, I don't know what caused that. I don't know why that happened. Sometimes these things just happen in crypto. But if that was to do with somebody saying something, somebody tweeting something, or some development in the tech, then that renders this move obsolete, and we should look for a retrace. If not, then given the volatile nature of this, I wouldn't want to get in on it until we had a deeper retest of something more significant. Maybe the 50 on the 4-hourly. Maybe even the 200, given how crazy it looks. Because that, wicks tell a story, and that wick is telling us that the sellers came in at a significant level, and yeah, there's probably a lot of underwater people here. So anyone who bought is probably underwater now. They FOMO'd into that. So I'm not particularly convinced on flow, unfortunately. Let's just check the 12-hourly for what it's worth. All right, so the 12-hourly's just generated a pump signal, so that goes that goes in favour of the bulls there, I would say. So bulls have got the 12-hourly to an extent, and so probably, despite the weirdness of this chart, we're probably looking for continuation on this. So if we get this pump on the 12-hourly, you probably expect that to play out within a few days, within a 3 or 4 day period. So as long as the market behaves itself, it should allow for this 12-hourly to pump. And I'll probably, just to be safe, I would probably look to front run that wick. We'll just see if that has any areas of significance that we can see on a horizontal time frame. We've already got this must have been from a long time ago. You can tell how long ago it was that we look at charts, depending on where the trend line moved up to. So we've not looked at this in a while. So I suppose, you could target this if you were extremely bullish on flow, and that would yield a 28% move. Personally, if you were to get in on this one, I'd wait for a 10 exponential on the 12-hourly to be tagged. Well, I suppose like it was on the previous 12-hourly candle there. Maybe that was the entry. And you would scale out. So this would be the top target on this particular run. I'd probably look for an intermediate target as well. Yeah, so that makes sense. We've got these bottoms, these tops. And that comes in at a nice flat number, obviously, $2. The retailers love a flat number, as do I. Because it's easier for us to work out how much money we're going to have when it reaches, I don't know, $100 or whatever it is your average retailer has calculated in their head. Don't sell until $100. Flow. Why? Because I've got 100 of them, and it's easy for me to work out how much money I'm going to make. That's why. So yeah, I'd scale out. $2, and top target would be 234 on that one. But again, it is a bit of a weird looking chart. BNB. Let's have a look at that then. I'm sure there are going to be better charts to look at than flow. BNB then, come on, let's have a little gander at this one. So again, outside of Matic BNB, I always say it's the strongest chart in crypto, and today we can see that it's just continuing to be strong. Not too bad really. When you look at it like this, it really isn't bad at all. I know that obviously, that's not great, but from the last peak, we're down 47%, so that's not bad. It's really not bad, and obviously this is going on to make new all-time highs with its Bitcoin pair. Let's just see how that looks today. I imagine it's probably still doing that procedure, isn't it? Going on to make new all-time highs. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that's it. BNB again gets the strongest crypto award again from me. So it's always it's the best. It's the absolute best. I love it when people try and spread fun about it. So at the moment we are actually, from what I can see here, a significant area horizontal support resistance, and so this would be a kind of a major area to break, because if we did break from this and start a trend above this area, then it wouldn't be too crazy to assume an actual new all-time high being developed somewhere along the lines. We saw the last everything bounce, the first one that we called in the summer, we saw coins doing 100 to 200, some even 300% moves, but the average is about 100% move really from the everything bounce part 1. And so to see this, with BNB, to imagine it moving up from breaking out from here and then going on to making a trend before the end of the year, maybe even over the this next month or so, 88% before it basically reaches its new all-time high. That's not unreasonable. Now let's just have a look at any kind of signals on this. So obviously no golden cross in sight, and obviously we're extended all the way up to the resistance. So I would like to see a pullback to a 10 exponential or thereabouts. Obviously these are very steep at the moment, so these are going to be moving up every day to quite a large extent. When it comes to signals, there was a pump signal on this one. How many days ago? Let's just measure that closure of the Chiku span there. 7 days ago. So 7 days ago you got your pump signal on the daily here, and now you can see the power of that pump signal. Really, it's absolutely awesome. Yeah, we just measure it just for fun, really. Pump signal would have been generated on this candle body here, and that's done a 20% move, and that's BNB, and that's what market cap of what, the third biggest market cap in crypto, and still managing to sort of smash it, really. Strong chart at resistance. Look for a pullback, buy the dip on a 10 exponential, wherever that may be at the time. And again, you know, for those of you like myself who hold a lot of BNB, stand back and admire the chart. New all-time highs every other day now. Awesome, awesome stuff. Again, you know, it was a bit of a fluke that I got hold of all that BNB. I mean, I got it from bot trading, really, but yeah, I've still got quite a lot of them, to be honest, and you know, it's one of those things where I feel to myself, never sell that stuff. I did sell half of it at $100, but I kept the rest. But if you go back in time and watch those bot trading videos, I had like hundreds of BNB that I'd earned from that $1,000 investment, really, into bot trading. So it's just one of those things. It's buy, hold, stake. Buy, hold, stake. That's what I do with it now. I start the new bot trading on Qcoin, but hopefully the same kind of scenario to unfold over the coming years. Right, so Matic, CHZ. Okay, so you're getting your money's worth here. Right, so Matic, CHZ. So Matic, again, one of the other strongest charts in crypto. Again, another one that called back in the day. We are loving Matic. We've got this at between 1 and 2 cents. Sold most of it, kept 25% of it. Buy, hold, stake the rest, really. Over 100x up at the moment from my original entry, so enjoying that. Again, this is held up extremely well. CHZ. I'll go back to the others in a minute. So, Matic. On the last stream, we spoke about this, and I remember saying how ridiculous it sounded, but once we break through this area, there isn't much stopping it at all to get to 133, and it looks like that's where we're going. So this is the little trend line that we drew from the last stream. Well, I mean, I suppose it's nice to be pessimistic on the time frame, because we shot straight up more or less from the last stream we did. So there you go. So from the last stream, we must be up about 30% now. 35% from the last stream. Again, you know, it's all born out of signals, wasn't it? We had the pump signal on the daily on one of the strongest charts in crypto. Breaking through this $1 zone leaves us really not much at all in this area to deal with. No moving averages, barely any resistance. This is the only little bit in here, and it's pretty weak, and that's where we've gone up to now. It's very weak resistance. I expect it to break. And so there's nothing stopping it to go to 133. Obviously, when you get a couple of candles like this, you've done 35% in a couple of days. So let's face it, that's a lot. So you would be looking for some kind of consolidation on this one. If you wanted to buy Matic, you'd have to have balls of steel to try and buy this now, because it's 35% in a couple of days. So you'd really want to see some kind of pullback, maybe back down to $1. And see where we go from there. This support will gain extra strength once these moving averages cross back above it. That will allow for this to be strong enough to sustain this pump up to that level. Now, if and when we get to that 133 area, that is mega resistance at that point there. So I would expect resistance and rejection from there, just based on how significant it is. Lots of retests over here before the big breakdown. Also a fair bit of resistance support here before a big breakdown as well. So there's a lot going on at that 133. So I hold a lot of it from the 1 and 2 cent days. So I'm not going to sell it here. Silly. And just keep it all running and just keep it going. But anyone who's in this for the trade, especially since last Tuesday when we diagnosed this pump, you might want to scale out. Maybe a little bit here, and that would be the top target. And look, that's just me telling you what the short-term timeframes are likely to do. Again, I haven't traded this, but it's responded perfectly well to exactly what we said it was going to do, and the Chiku span is being used really good. The Itchy Cloud is really pulling out the pumps at the moment. So 133 is the top target on this pump, and again, nothing's changed from last week. That's exactly what we said. So. Right, let's have a look at CHZ. Right, so again, this is obviously one we've not looked at in a while, so we'll just extend this. Right, so these are obviously supports, resistances. We're creeping above this area now. No pump signal yet on this. We're waiting for this the cloud to turn green. But that's fine. That's the only thing we're waiting for here. And that's likely to happen pretty soon. Just measure this. What are we? 25, 26. So that's probably going to go green by tomorrow's close, provided, well, if we close this candle here or above this cloud, it's going to close green in a couple of days. And that'll be a pump signal on this one. And so wherever we are at the time of that pump signal, if we come down to a 10 or a 21 exponential, we'll be looking to buy that dip and sail this one up to 30 cents. Let's see how hot we are on the money flow index. That's all right, 88. We can hang around at 88 and probably come down a little lower. Let's just check the weekly, just very briefly on this one. That's fine. The money flow index is not too hot on the money flow on the weekly, which is that's the main thing to be afraid of, because we've been so low for so long, and there's not been an enormous amount of volume and money coming into these assets. Money flow indexes can get pretty overheated very quickly, as the order books basically get washed with cash, and then people just take it straight out again because it's so overheated. So it's not like a pure bull market territory where you see huge big pumps up and you get a sustained money flow index read all the way up here. It's not the same on these levels. You go straight from the bottom to the top quite quickly. So that can indicate time to get out, especially if we're in the 90s, especially, how high do we like to be on this year? 92, generally speaking. So 92, 95 is always a time to get out. So we are getting quite hot. I wouldn't ever really want to buy anything when the money flow index on a daily is at 90 or above. Most of the time, I wouldn't really want to buy anything when the money flow index is above the comfort zone of 80. But it does look good for continuation, and I would target 30 cents, which again is a nice round number, and the retailers like round numbers. But remember, I'm going to keep saying it. I'll say it every single day that we go green like this. Don't FOMO into anything. We've been talking about the Everything Bounce 2.0 for 3 weeks now, and so this is 3 weeks in, and now we're starting to see some serious cash coming our way. But the time to position yourself appropriately was 3 weeks ago. And now what we're doing now is waiting to see if these trends form. It looks like they are forming, and if a trend forms, you can play the trend. That's what we should really be thinking about doing. XRP Sol Link. Right, let's have a look. So XRP is still quite simple, based on the Bitcoin pair, which is where we said that we're going to get a pump. We were waiting for a little while on this Sol USDT and Link. Right then, let's get a look at these bad boys. So XRP is pretty simple to me as far as the analysis goes. Nothing's changed. From the tether pair, I would target this descending triangle resistance. That really would be, to be fair with you, the most obvious place on this one. This is how XRP likes to behave. Whether it's a bull market or a bear market, this is what it likes to do. And then we creep out of it and finally go into a new bull market. So I'm not convinced that if we could see a spike out of here, and I think that's probably what we will see, but it'll be a fake out like the one we had over here. So a spike out and then a significant dump into a black swan situation, really. But, we are above most moving averages of significance, but there's nothing really on this chart other than a trend that's forming, that's interesting. The most important thing was the analysis that we've done over the last few weeks, which is on the Bitcoin pair, on its weekly. And like I say, I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, but it's pretty good stuff. We had this pump signal on a weekly generated a few weeks ago. So, people have asked every stream, haven't they, really? What's going on with XRP? I said, well, it's the same deal. Wait for the 10 exponential, get tagged. It'll be on a weekly. You've got plenty of time. Wait for the weekly, plenty of time. Wait for the weekly, wait for the weekly. There you go. You've been tagged. So now we've hit that and we started to move up already. This is a slow burn. It's a weekly pump signal, but the target would be 4,000 sats, give or take. I know this is measured up here at 4,300 sats. That's these two areas over here. And again, that's a big bold move for this Bitcoin pair. So that would be an 86% move. And I guess for the people who haven't seen my analysis on XRP, the long story short is that the last time we had a signal like this, it doesn't look much when you look at it on the chart, but we back tested it. The only other time we had a signal like this was back in 2017 in the summer. And it was that signal that yielded a 800, almost 900% move. And that is not going to happen this time. but the thing to recognize is that it's based around the same signal setup that are a long time coming. And one of the main things I like about XRP is that it does respond really well to signals, because it's an old chart, it's an old coin, it's been around 2013. So it does respond well. It might not be a hodler's paradise, but it does respond well. So, like I say, the only time in history this ever happened, we did this big move, we did the pump, and then we consolidated into the 10 exponential after a pump signal. Then we went absolutely crazy and went on to make the all-time high for its Bitcoin pair. So I'm looking for the same thing to happen again here. So, but I guess short-term time frames on the daily, we'll look at Tether, because there'll be people trading that as well. Extend this 51, 52 cents. That's fine. I think we should be targeting that kind of area roughly for this first move up. And again, this makes sense for not just XRP, but for all the other charts really. They're all going to be looking like this. We've had this big move up today. We're outside of Bollinger Bands, which are quite tight. They've contracted. They're going to start to expand. We shouldn't really expect a great deal more immediately. This is why I think trends are going to start to form. And if they start to form above major areas of resistance, that's great. Obviously, we're not above there yet, but there's several of these, haven't there, that we've looked at so far. They've got these intermediate resistance levels first of all, which I'd expect to see as a resistance, and then XRP could be good to see a test of that. That's your 200 exponential. We'll be snaking up a little bit like that. Maybe we catch a bounce on the 200 exponential and up to, well, according to this chart here with this tether pair, only measured up to 55%. So that's only a 22%. So a wick of, let's just say 80% could take us all the way up to 90. That's a big wick. So conflicting analysis, really, to be honest with you. But either way, still looking for at least a 20% move. But with its Bitcoin pair, could do us a hell of a lot more. If we break out of this descending triangle and we break out effectively with conviction, this breaks the market cycle of XRP, and XRP does have its own market cycle, and it's usually determined by a breakout of a large consolidation that takes the best part of 2 years. So far, this has been quite short for XRP. It's been consolidating for about 18 months, so it should still want to stay within this triangle as far as its own cycle is concerned. But if we were to break out, that would be a big change of behaviour, and we could talk about new all-time highs. It's not the sort of thing I'd say on my normal YouTube, where people would slag me off. I'd probably get a lot of views for it because people like all that sort of stuff, but that's highly speculative. But if we were to break out of there with conviction, maybe I would make that video, and I'd just join all those other YouTubers who jump on the bandwagon. I don't want to be the first one to say it because it's too sensational. I've already said my piece about XRP, which is that it's likely to do a big move based on that weekly. There's nothing more really to say about it. It's been the same analysis for weeks as we've waited for that to come down. Right, so Sol, only 6.8%, measly for Sol. I thought you were the golden child of crypto. So again, hindsight traders, this is where we look back and go, oh, obviously it was a buy the dip. I did say buy the dip, by the way, obviously. But you know, everyone else, when you look back at these charts, you go, oh yeah, of course, we were at the upper side of the Bollinger Band, we came down to retest it. That's a bullish retest of a reclaiming of the Bollinger Band, that's obvious. So the Bollinger Bands have been respected in the center, they should also get respected at the top. It looks like that's what's happening here, $34. That's fine. Check the 4 hourly to see how the trend looks on the 4 hourly here. So golden cross and a deep retest into that. Not even a retest. It wasn't really testing it more than just going straight through it. So as much as I want to like Sol because it's popular and cool and probably will work out, on a technical basis it's pretty messy, to be honest, with no pump signal here yet. So the 4 hourly looks a bit messy, to be honest. Let's check the 12 hourly. 12 hourly looks a little bit better. We are working on a pump signal here, but it's a bit too close to call. We've still got 3 hours and 3.5 hours to close before this closes outside of here. Again, I would be looking for consolidations and then buy the dips on these, to be honest. And how many are watching now? So there's a few of you watching. So long story short, the Dixie, the dollar, called this top 3 weeks ago. So that I said, look, it's very likely to see everything in the whole market bounce from this level. Yeah, like I say, called the top on the Dixie. Even yesterday when the Dixie had moved up a lot, I said I'm not convinced. The markets are stronger than the geriatrics that are trying to run the show. So don't be fooled, or don't even be concerned about this dollar going up. Now it's going down again. It just adds more weight to the everything bounce 2.0. So I'm in favour of everything bouncing, as I have been for 3 weeks, and now we're starting to see a bit more of that bounce. So I think, yeah, wait for a trend to form. We're at the top of the Bollinger Band here on the 12 hourly, same with the daily. Look for a pullback to a moving average of significance, probably because the daily was so well respected, we could focus on the daily for those moving averages to be the area of support, and that would be, well, that's a 3-day. What the heck? That would probably be at this stage either a 21 exponential or the 10 exponential. That's where I'd look to buy a dip on this one. But again, I'm not going to trade it. I'm sure there's better charts than Sol, but it's like I say, it's not got a pump signal on it. It's just moving with the market. That's why other coins have moved up higher and faster. That one hasn't. It's not complemented by buy or pump or trend signals or anything like that. It's just moving with the market. Right, Chainlink, powerful, absolutely powerful move. Hindsight traders kicking into gear here, but yeah, 10 exponential is where we moved on from today. So this is the sort of this is a trend in the making, big time. Pump signal as well generated. Was that just yesterday? No, this is all 1 day's worth. So we surprisingly, this is yet to be sealed in. So we're going to bake this pump signal in tonight, since we've stretched this cheeky span way outside of the cloud. Again, don't expect it to pump straight away. A pump signal on a daily can take a week or maybe even 2 weeks to play out. It's a daily time frame, but it's looking pretty sweet, to be honest with you. 200 at 9, and the top of this range that we've been stuck in for so long, coming in at $9.30, $9.40-ish area. With the pump signal in play, you'll be looking for a consolidation, probably into the 10 exponential, and then from there move back up to 9.30, 9.40. And if we break there, then that's great, because that's a huge change of behavior. And this is one of the reasons I bought Chainlink when we capitulated down into this $6 zone. I said, look, I'm buying this for long term. This is one of the only charts with history that have outperformed Bitcoin consistently in a bear market and a bull market. And so it makes sense to buy it on the first potential capitulation. It's been a bumpy ride. I can tell you that now, and I'm all up for further bumpy rides on this one. This is an investment trade rather than any kind of day trade or swing trade, but it's too tasty not to buy at that low level. And if we come down to there again, which we could, because again this is just a bounce, probably just a bear market rally. I would. It's not like I'm a financial advisor. I'm far from it, but I would say that it's probably a good idea to pick it up at 6 or below, because my expectation is that this is one of the only altcoins that has a degree of certainty surrounding it that will go on to make a new all-time high over the next bull market. You can't say that for everything. I feel relatively safe in saying that for Chainlink. And so yeah, pretty sweet stuff. So yeah, short-term targets, we could extend this all the way up to this level tonight or through the weekend. No reason to doubt that. But to break that would take a lot of momentum. So given the pump signal, which is almost certainly going to be created tonight, you'd look for probably a buy the dip opportunity based on moving averages. Probably the 10, maybe the 21. But pretty sweet, pretty good stuff. And it's nice to see coins like Chainlink, which most people thought was unpopular and uncool, to actually start working out. So there's your buy the dip opportunities and take profit opportunities. I think that the best way to honestly to look at them is in the form of trends now. So moving averages 10, 21 exponential Bollinger Band Center. If they're getting respected, then that's where I would be looking to buy them in. So it looks like trends are forming now. Right, hello, can we take a look at IOTX and BTC, ICP to BTC and CRO? Yeah, so IOXT, BTC, I've got that wrong, haven't I? Right, what was it called again? IOTX, that's it, IOTX to BTC. It was CRO. USDT, I suppose. Get the Qcoin one, and I've forgotten already. Oh, of course, ICP, the hallmark of the channel. What? I was going to say, buddy, not even. It's not even barely green. Come on, mate. Right, so we'll start off with this because it's not looking great. Right, so it's been a while, so we'll extend that. All right, fair enough. So we'll give it a little bit of credit for being able to reclaim this horizontal, which we are above now. Staying above 534 is a good day. Moving averages are likely to reclaim that. So probably if you wanted to trade this, that would be an appropriate place to at least try it. Again, I'm not really a fan of suggesting anybody buy this at the moment, to be honest with you. I like it, right? I like what it is that they're going to try and do in that, but when it comes to the chart, it's really, really bad. Not even a golden cross on the 4-hourly, which is no good to be. No place to be. But backing up this horizontal is the 200 exponential and soon to be the 50. So it does add more weight to this 535 area being a really strong area of support. So I'm not saying it's going to pump massively or anything like that. I'm just saying that if you're looking to buy a dip on this one in the hope that something takes place for it, that would be the place. And again, 10 exponential on the 12 hourly is going to back that up also too. And probably by the weekend, as long as we stay at this level or above that support, the other moving average is going to back that up. So this should end up being a very strong level of support. And again, when you get setups like this, which again isn't really a setup for a bullish move, it's just adding more weight to the fact that, all right, you could enter a trade here, and if we did break down from this level, then you know that you're in trouble because there's so much backing up this one level of support that it would be hard to well, it shouldn't be breaking it, especially if we're doing a bounce. Obviously, I just remembered we were supposed to look at the Bitcoin pair. So 12 hourly, very nondescript. We're back into the buy zone, obviously. Let's check the daily. Pretty nondescript. Rejection on the 50. Again, we're above the Bollinger Band Center, so that's okay. We've also got this horizontal backing up this level here, so it's not great. I have to say, it's not looking great. 4 hourly back down below the 200 exponential as well. This is an interesting signal, actually. Talking of things we don't normally see, this is a trend signal formed over here. So Chiku span above the price, which is what counts on this signal, price action above the cloud as well, and the cross baseline conversion line crossed above the cloud. So actually, this is a trend in play, apparently, according to the indicator. It's relatively organic, I would say. Reasonably negative cross followed by a positive cross. I don't know as I trust it, just given the nature of how it's been formed. But I think we get carried with the market on this one because it's not developed anything on its own. So I'm not a fan of that. It's not really got anything endearing about that setup, I'm afraid. Crow. Okay, so what are we doing? Still in this sort of still in this crappy little area, I see. Daily, not got any signals on it at all, but we are, again, hindsight kicks in again. Of course, this was a buy the dip opportunity. Why didn't anyone tell me apart from CryptoClick, who was adamant about it being a buy the dip opportunity? So yeah, look back, you can see that, yeah, that's where we buy the dip. A retest of the center of the Bollinger Band, lovely, and then right up to the top of it. So again, you know, this is a reasonable move for this coin, I suppose. So you'll be looking for a consolidation into a moving average as this trend gets stronger. So we're in the upper side of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, rule 101, you're 65% more likely to remain above the Bollinger Band center once you've reclaimed it. So this was a bullish retest of that and back up to the top. So a strong move and continuing with its trend. This is a trend that's in play. No bearish divergence, nothing like that. Again, same old. We are quite hot on the money flow index, right from the bottom, more or less straight to the top in just a space of like a week or so. So I don't think this current move on any of these coins is going to take us up to astronomical levels, but this is how trends do begin. They begin quite volatile and quite choppy as the money enters the order books fast and then leaves it fast and then goes back in it fast and leaves it fast. And provided more stays in than leaves overall, it becomes a good trading environment. And it does favour bots as well, actually, the beginnings of these... the beginnings of all of this. Right, so let's get rid of that. So again, it's moving with the market. It's not particularly doing its own thing. Right, this one actually looks all right here. So we've ricocheted off the 200 exponential moving average. No pump signal in play, not yet. We want this portion to go green. Probably will go green over the next day or so, given the size of the pump over here. But depends on where the Chiku span's going to be living at that point. So we've just got the cross here below the cloud. That's fine. Chiku span. We're just waiting for this to go green, and we're good to go. Momentum. Right. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is where things start to get a bit sketchy. Money flow index gone straight up over the last few days. What are we trading at? 11 bitcoins in a 24-hour period. That's really not much at all. So we must have looked at this in the past. We'll extend this over here. Seems reasonable to expect a move like that if we get the pump signal. I think we just have to keep our eyes on that daily to see if we get it, because if we do, then that 180 sats shouldn't be a problem, to be honest with you. Only freshly just got a golden cross here, so you know how I feel about golden crosses. They're likely to get a deeper retest. This is a Bitcoin pair, so this could just lag behind Bitcoin as it is doing right now. So just below Bitcoin's 1.29% down versus Bitcoin. So be prepared to see this actually come down more, and maybe a retest of the 50 or the 200, wherever they are at the time, and then get picked up. Again, aggressive. This might favour a bot setup, to be honest with you. This has obviously been a big move up, big move down, big move up, potentially a big move down. Still forming higher highs and higher lows, but aggressive ones, which might be better for bot trading than it would be for trying to get clever on a spot trade. Right. Good evening, CC. Hope you are well. Can you have a look at the old boy Tezos, please? See what she's doing. Is that XTZ? I'm assuming it is. I'm not sure. XTZ. Someone will have to tell me if I'm wrong here, because I don't know the names of all the cryptos, to be fair with you. Right. Okay. So we are pushing resistance and the 50 exponential on this daily. A little bit crooked on the moving averages, but this is a breakout of momentum as well, so that's quite good. But still, that is resistance, very wicky above this area. This is major resistance here. So let's just check the 4-hour to see if this has got any kind of trend built on it. So it's a real weird looking shitty setup, to be fair with you. So we had this move up into the support, into the resistance with a golden cross, with a fake out of that. So normally when you see a golden cross followed by a death cross, and it's the second golden cross that actually really does have some power and weight behind it. So obviously we've not got that yet. If we get above here and start to use that as support, and we will likely get a golden cross, you know, something along these lines, then maybe we can use any one of these to gauge our support from on the 4-hourly to move up. But as it stands at the moment, this is like a setup in waiting. There's nothing about it that I like. There's no trend really. I mean, we might, if I had to trade it, I'd be like, all right, okay, we are working on a breakout here of this consolidation from this previous, and thinking into the future like a chess player. The likelihood is that this gets carried with the market enough for it to create a golden cross, and then after that a pump signal. But we don't have either of those, and so what we're doing is we're just speculating as to what the signals will be in the future, in the hope that we've bought a lower area that will carry us higher. But I can't trade like that. Trading is obviously risk to reward, so at the moment, with the absence of signals, that increases the risk, despite the overall trading environment being quite favourable. So I would focus on the reclaiming of 140, we'll call it 144, and then moving averages breaking above there once it's golden crossed, and then getting the retest of the golden cross, followed by a pump signal, which should take us on further, probably into these zones, 150, 160 to start with, maybe even, who knows. But it's at that point things start to get interesting, because it's broken out from this deeper range and should have hopefully built a base where it based from previously. We had a nice big move up, vicious move down. Again, this might be a nice bot trade of its own as well. Again, starting uptrends that start, especially at the moment, might be bot friendly, very bot friendly. Right, hi CC. I hope, can you have a look at oil again, please? Any bots yet? No bots yet. Because like I say, I'm trying to increase. Bots are really good, and I do want to do them. But when for me, because I've said that I was adamant about this. Everything bounced 3 weeks ago. I was absolutely adamant that the Dixie had peaked, and so I felt like spot trading would be better than bot trading for me, because I feel as though I've got a handle on the market. Obviously, without blowing my own trumpet, I feel like I would make more money from buying and then selling rather than just allowing Right, sounds like my sound's gone. My mic's been a bit weird. I think it's a USB port that's the problem. Sorry about that. So I'm back. Right, the sound is back. Hopefully I've not been talking to myself for too long. Thanks for sending me the message on the Discord, by the way. Otherwise I would have been doing this all night on my own. So I don't know how much you missed of that. I was talking about sushi, so we'll get back on that again. Feel free to drop me another message if it cuts out again. Sorry about that. Bloody... I'm going to have to sort this computer out. It's a USB port. It seems to have just got looser and looser and looser over the years, and to the point where basically now it's just refusing to work. Right. So we were talking about sushi, I believe. Oh no, we were on to Rose. But sushi's at resistance. The whole market looks like it wants to consolidate from these resistances and then continue on with their trends. Rose. I'm paranoid that I'm not getting sound anymore now. Rose. Pretty savage move on Rose here, right outside of the Bollinger Band here. Again, this one, as far as a hindsight trade was concerned, I probably wouldn't have taken because we went straight down below all major moving averages on this daily, unlike some of these others which got support on the centre of the Bollinger Band. The pump signal on this one is unlikely to take place at any time soon because this big red cloud doesn't permit any kind of ability for this GQ span to get out of here. So we'll look at the lower term time frames on this. Looks like we've got a fair bit to run, but I wouldn't worry about the RSI getting so high like that. You'd probably be forgiven for entering into this trade with that RSI so high. I'm so paranoid about this sound now. Golden Cross over here, a damaging sort of slice below it really. And a pump signal generated just recently. What was this? 1, 2... on the last couple of hours really, so pump signal playing out at the moment. Fair enough. So the 4 hourly is looking good. 12 hourly is surpassing this 200 exponential with a... let me just zoom in closer on this one. So this is a trend signal forming actually on the itchy cloud. So again, just like everything else, we seem to be hitting these resistances across the board for everything. So normally there's power in a market which are collectively finding resistance all at the same time. So I unless it goes into super turbo mode, which I don't think it will, because I'm looking at in the short term, because if we just look over here at the S&P, it's kind of measly. Seems to be that crypto is really, really ramping up, and traditional markets outside of commodities, at least, like gold and oil and all the others, are not quite so aggressive. So hang on a second, just let me check something. I think I've missed the. Damn it! I wanted to close my oil trade. I just missed it by 1 minute. Damn it! That was only because I don't like holding trades over the weekend. But never mind, it is what it is. I'm sure it'll be fine. Right. So yeah, S&P, Nasdaq, a lot of stocks actually not looking very good. Earnings season, isn't it really? So that seems to be the thing that's dragging it down, and that's fine. So long as the Dixie continues to go down, everything else should generally go up, and stocks are subject to other things that crypto is not subject to. Same with commodities. So I think that's why we're seeing the bigger moves on commodities now and stocks sort of lagging. But yeah, what I was saying about these resistances, it seems to be the case for everything we've looked at more or less. There is a major area of resistance that we're hitting against. That's perfectly normal. Look for a resistance, look for a retrace, look for a trend to form, and then eventually the resistance to break, and then you go up to the next level. But Rose, because the daily is, weird with this big red cloud with the Chiku span in it, if it moves up, it's just going to be based on a trend of its own, and no pump signal as a sweetener. Do you know what I mean? That's what we want to see. We want to see golden crosses. We want to see higher highs, higher lows, and then we want to see pump signals or trend signals form on the itchy cloud. And we're not going to get that with Rose, which is unfortunate. But I can't doubt it. It's going to get carried with the market. But I think there'll be better ones than Rose that we can find. INJ. So we're on a daily here above a 200 exponential. Lovely. Really good. How hot are we over here? Right, okay, so this is a shame. So this is really what I would call squeaky bum time. I would certainly not get in a trade like this. And again, this has surpassed the resistance, but the money flow index is now dancing around that 94 to 95 zone. This is the third highest it's ever been in this chart's history. And as a result, I wouldn't advise going in on this one. And in fact, if anyone was in it, I'd say this is probably a significant area to at least partially take some profit, because you'd be, in the short term, you'd be looking for a bigger pullback. And again, if we're only talking about the 10 exponential, maybe that is a 13% drop, 20% drop to the 21. Obviously, these are all going to move up, every day, so be less and less and less. But yeah, I think the money flow index tells me all I would want to know, which is that I would not dare go in on this one. And if I was in on it, I'd take profit and probably look to move in on the trend. So because the daily is so strong, let's check the 3-day. That's a shame. So the 3-day is not going to get any kind of pump signal on that one. And the weekly, so the weekly is extended on the Bollinger Band. Yeah, well, you could target areas of another $1 on top of what we are right now, so $3.76 or something along those lines, throughout the duration of this everything bounce 2.0. But in the short term, I feel as though it's kind of finished in the short term, and just look for a deeper pullback to take advantage of that dip. Also, what's your... Oh, okay, we've done that. So Jasmy, we've got to do it, haven't we? Always got to do it. I don't know why I'm so attracted to Jasmy. Oh, that's Jammer, that's my name. That's probably why. A Freudian slip there. Jazz. That's probably it. It's probably my narcissism encapsulated in a crypto there. Right, so let's have a look. So I mean, the chart does look like a pile of shit based on its own doing, really. It's the, when we were trading this back around these levels, there was pump signals and we were able to play those, but we're not going to get those anytime soon on a daily. 12 hourly is working on one, but we need this cheeky span to get out of the cloud. Still reasonable looking chart on the shorter term time frames based on trend. Again, hindsight traders, retest of the 200 exponential, big sharp move up, and 10 exponential to the 21. So it's shown strength moving up. So actually, I don't dispute it will be able to do this. We've reclaimed the Bollinger Band center on the 4 hourly and the 200 exponential. No golden cross in sight. We do have pump signals, they're a bit weak, so I wouldn't play those. I'll be looking for this one to be choppy and maybe 0.55 cents again, wherever the Bollinger Band center is, the 200 exponential is. That's where I would think about maybe trying entry on it. But again, in the absence of a pump signal on this one, it's just a bit too deadly to say go in on this one. I would be focused on the medium term time frames like this 12 hourly over the coming week to see if we can generate proper pump signals on a reasonable time frame like a 12 hourly, because the daily is not going to give you anything. And then you target this 200 exponential. So I would probably say it's not unreasonable to expect Jasmy to reach these kind of levels and beyond over to this previous horizontal of 0.8 of a cent. I think that's its destination, at least on the everything bounce 2.0, just based on the overall market and my expectations of the Dixie coming down over the next few weeks still. Because 3 weeks ago when I diagnosed the Dixie's descent, I did say 2 to 6 weeks worth of price action should bring it down by 5 to 7%, and so we've still got further to go down before things get before everything reaches its top targets. To be honest with you, and Jasmy would be included in that because it's part of the everything bounce 2.0. It just doesn't have the signals yet, but it's still good though. It's still good. But I've got some. It's part of it takes up 25% of my bot trading spot. So I'm in on Jasmy, hoping for the best. But the reason it's only 25%, which is a lot, I wouldn't normally have so much. But it's only a bot trading account. Just trying to boost that balance through any means necessary. So I thought I'll stick $1,000 into Jasmy, see what happens there. But yeah, that's Jasmine for you. It's going to move with the market, and then maybe we can get pump signals that will take it up to 0.8 of a cent and maybe beyond, but we'll just target that for now. Hi CC, can we look at XRP against BTC and USDT? So we've done that, but I assume you missed it, so we'll just do it again because it's very easy to analyze. It's the same as we've been saying for the last few weeks. It's no different, apart from now we're starting to see the move materialize. So long story short, Bitcoin pair on the weekly, simple as this. You know, we obviously got the first pump when I said, oh, we're going to move 40%, and everyone's like, what are you talking about, man? Oh, 40% later. And then I said, look, we're going to cool off now. We've got a pump signal on the weekly. We're going to come down to the 10 exponential most likely and move from there. Did that last week. We also got another chance this week. Now we're likely to push up on this. Again, this is a weekly signal, so it's going to take a while. It's taken us a while to consolidate down to the buy zone. We hit that buy zone now, and I think we should have the power. Again, there's an intermediate zone, 3,300, but I think this will have the power to move up to 4,000, maybe 4,400 sats, which is about an 80% move from where we're at right now. But you can also do the analysis on the tether pair, which contradicts that and only yields a 20% move. Based on the consolidation pattern, part of its market cycle, basically it spends 2.5 years for the most part downtrending from its all-time high or its previous high, from its parabolic high we'll call it, and is only able to try to contest this high once it breaks out of the descending triangle. Since we're in it and we're only 18 months of the way through, makes a very strong case that we're not going to be able to break out of it on the first pass. We could spike out of it, but we get sucked back into it. Doesn't seem reasonable to imagine it being able to do that, but you know, cycles do break. We all know that things change, and this could change. But for the moment, we'll focus on this, which is all right. Let's be reasonable. We're moving up to maybe 60 cents or something over the next couple of weeks. Let's be reasonable about it. But we can also extend that by using the Bitcoin pair and the pump signal that we've seen. And like I said on that video a few weeks ago when I was pointing all this out, I said, look, the only time we've ever had this signal before was back in 2017, in the summer. Before everything went parabolic, XRP made its own all-time high of the Bitcoin pair in the summer, not when everything else was doing it. And that was based on exactly the same signal with exactly the same setup with exactly the same consolidation to exactly the same moving average. So there you go. Right, what's up, man? I love your content. I'm curious what you think is going to continue to happen with. I don't even know what that is. Had a nasty pump recently. I don't even know what that is, so I can't possibly tell you. The 10 exponential you use for the entries, is that on daily or 4 hourly? Well, it depends. It's on moving averages and charts. You use the same moving averages on all time frames. So depending on the signal that you're focused on, or the setup that you focus on that time frame. So if I saw a pump signal and a trend and everything like this forming on a 4 hourly, and the 4 hourly is where the action's taking place, I would do it on the 4 hourly. If the setup was on the weekly, like what we've just seen for XRP, I would base it on the weekly. Same moving averages, same setup, different time frame. That usually yields, the higher the time frame, the bigger the move. So it all depends on what setup you're looking at, basically, to which version of the 10 exponential you're using. All time frames have significance to them. It depends on what style of trading you're doing, but for me, my bread and butter would be the daily, but I do like to see weekly setups as well. Dailies usually are the most appropriate to look at for any chart, really, but you can extend it to a weekly and shrink it down to a 4 hourly. Anything lower than a 4 hourly for me is it's not really worth it. So we've done that. Thoughts on blockchain backer and his analysis of XRP and Bitcoin dominance. He sees Bitcoin dominance falling and an alt season coming in. Well, I don't know anything about the blockchain backer. I know he's a popular guy, but I don't watch anyone else on YouTube. So if that's what he's saying, then it makes sense, because it's what I've been saying about the Everything Bounce 2.0 3 weeks ago. I've not really looked at the Bitcoin dominance chart for a while, but the last time we looked at it, I think it was a week or two ago, and we recognised we were getting a resistance on the Bollinger Band Center on the weekly, which is where I like to look at the Bitcoin dominance. So we'll see that now, and obviously we can do a bit of hindsight trading. You can pretend you've gone back in time to the last stream I did on this, and there you go. So look, and again, it's 3 weeks, so exactly the same setup as the Dixie finding its peak. A resistance on the center of this Bollinger Band. Perfectly appropriate place to gauge a temporary breakdown. We are at 40% dominance, which makes it likely that this is all part of me thinking, looking at this now, that 40% dominant zone is a bit of a shitty area to be in alts, and so as we're looking for these trends to form, obviously you get higher highs and higher lows, so we're looking to form those higher lows probably next. So I think we've reached a temporary peak in this little pump right now that we've got. Now we're going to consolidate. That would be perfectly appropriate to expect to see the dominance bounce from this level as altcoins fall dramatically compared to their Bitcoin friend. But yeah, if that's what the blockchain back is saying, it's not like I don't know much about him other than I know he exists. I personally don't like this area of 40% dominance, but the fact that we got resistance on the Bollinger Band already, it's encouraging. Alt season, well, I'm not going to call it an alt season. I'm just going to call it an everything bounce. I think alt season would be inappropriate. We called this one an alt season. I told everybody, buy alts around here. This is an alt season. It's a significant resistance that, we loved that. We were in at the bottom of all of those altcoins, did 100 to 200% moves from there. Don't see that is going to happen here. I think everything's just going to trend up from here. But immediately, as of right this very moment in time, we've hit the 40% dominant zone, so that makes it feel more likely that we're going to get some consolidation at this point from alts. So if you're a Bitcoin altcoin trader that like to trade between the two pairs, then yeah, maybe take some profit into Bitcoin, and then it's up to you what you do, but that's usually a good way to play it. Right, well, hello. You've nailed it, bro. Dixie reverse pump Q4, baby. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with myself here. Yeah, it's nice to have I was saying at the beginning of the stream, it's nice to have the illusion of wealth again. Could you have a look at RNDR token on Qcoin, and what's the outlook on Chainlink over the next 12 months? Well, I can't tell you. I don't know about the next 12 months or so, but I'll allude to the fact that Chainlink is probably one of the better altcoins to have if you're just looking to generally outperform Bitcoin overall. I think that's all I can really say about it. But from this exact level, yeah, I'm not saying buy it, but I bought a load at 6. I don't trade it. I sit on it. I bought it. I'm going to leave it for hopefully the duration of this next full bull market that we may or may not already be in, but will likely go into at some point. So I'm not looking to sell that Chainlink anytime soon until there's a very clear parabolic high on it, hopefully bringing it to about $100 or more. So what's this? RNDR. Is that what we're looking at? I've lost it. RNDR on Qcoin. Well, I'll tell you what, it's also on Binance, but if you want it on Qcoin, maybe it's got a longer chart history, so we'll do that then for you. Let's have a look at this. Okay, reasonable trading volume. Fine old pump from the bottom over here, so it's already overextended just based on a normal Qcoin. Right, so that's your overextended 97% money flow index read on a daily. So, and a 200 exponential retest to boot. So that's what I would call get the hell out of Dodge area. But look, Qcoin coins, the thing that makes them so good is that they normally trade for peanuts, and so that's why you go back in time and see some of these charts and they just they look like this. You go, oh, I wish I'd have bought it, and I wish I could have sold it. Yeah, but you probably wouldn't be able to buy 10 grand's worth of whatever this was down here without moving the market yourself. But either way, long story short, this is prime for a decent pullback. To be honest with you, the money flow index being so high on a daily, you'd never want to buy it. It's still quite good on a weekly though, so maybe with this in mind, you could trade this on a weekly. You could look at it on a weekly. So I wouldn't feel comfortable buying in on it until that money flow index has cooled down to a large extent, to be honest, on the daily. Not to say that it can't move up, it definitely can. You know, things can just go crazy, especially on Qcoin. You know, they just go mad sometimes, but I wouldn't fancy it. If I really wanted to trade this, I would be patient about it, and I would look at this on a weekly, and I'd look for a retest of maybe a 10 exponential or something along those lines. We're still in favour of further upside on this, but after a decent pullback. Again, when you're trading, you know, shit coins, which I'm assuming this is a shit coin, you have to be pretty delicate with it, especially when you get reads of it being so overheated like that. Right, JazD BCB completely messed up his view on the last 12 months. He pushed buying the lows all year, then flipped a month ago. Oh, right, he's talking about, right, a blockchain backer, right, fair enough. Well, look, I'm not going to slag any other YouTuber off, unless it's Carl the Moon, who really, I don't understand his, I honestly don't know how somebody got so popular, and remains popular, when it's clear all they're doing is trying to get you to sign up to Bybit. I mean, that's his whole existence is surrounds that. It's almost like a joke, really. It's almost like a joke. And even he's been shown to be not even using real trades, hasn't he? He got caught out doing all that, and still people watch. But I don't know anything about the blockchain backer. I'll leave. I mean, no one's 100% correct all the time, and you have to be able to change your bias sometimes when certain things change. I've been pretty bearish for only up until like three weeks ago or so, when I thought that the Dixie was going to peak, and that's when I changed my bias. Then I was like, I favour further downside. Everything points to further downside. Let's expect further downside, and then everything seemed to come together in the Forex situation for me. And I was like, right, okay, so Japanese yen, pound, euro, all look like they're going to do something here. And the Dixie at a perfect area to get rejected. I think it's a perfect storm. So that's when I flipped. I flipped 3 weeks ago, a couple of days just before the Dixie, turned around. But I was bearish. I was bearish for ages. I was looking at really low areas on Bitcoin because that's where it was pointing to. You have to follow the trend, really, and the trend was certainly down, and it's difficult to navigate a top or a bottom exactly. And that's why I had to whip out all the Forex charts, because that's where that was like the secret sauce, really. It was what was controlling the market outside of the Fed doing their thing. It's all about Forex, and Forex is what helped me determine. And everything bounced 2.0. Everything bounced 1.0 in the summer was not based around Forex. I had to get the commodity charts out. And I was like, okay, all the commodities look like they're peaked. There's going to be a rotation into stocks, which should transfer into crypto. And that's how I did it that time. If I was just to be looking at the Bitcoin charts or altcoin charts, you'd never get that kind of fix. You have no real... The market is so much bigger than just these crypto charts. These are like afterthoughts, really, to the bigger picture. And recently, the secret sauce, the key to it all has been Forex, really. And that's why I was saying buy the dip yesterday, despite raising rates and seeing the dollar rise and pump all the way up. And some of the biggest Twitter people and Twitter traders are all saying, Dixie's going back up, all-time highs. And I'm like, no, it's not, because this is just a reaction. It's just an unreasonable reaction. I think it's a buy the dip on this one, to be honest, because the market is stronger than the geriatrics that are trying to manipulate it with their raising the rates or whatever, and it seems to have worked. I still think that the market is stronger than them at the moment. So anyway, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but if the blockchain backer wants to flip, so long as he's got good reason and backs it up with the reason he's flipped, then that's fine. That's what traders are supposed to do. If you just get married to one specific direction all the time and never change, then that's kind of madness. You have to move with the market, and as long as you can back it up with a reason. So this is where all my audio went. So nice one. Most underrated guy on the internet, is that me or the blockchain backer? So no sound, lots of no sound, lots of no sound. You stopped in oil. No, I didn't get. No, I didn't. My trigger didn't pull. It was ever so slightly not pulled. But never mind. I'm sure oil will work out. I think my entry point is reasonable, but yeah, I wanted to close before the weekend kicked in. Never mind. Sound cut out just after you opened US oil chart. Jesus Christ. I stopped in oil. Right. Fucking hell. Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Right. So that's a while back then, isn't it? How embarrassing. All right. So all right. So now I see what you're talking about the oil thing, right? So just to recap in oil, yeah, 93 is my target. That's on US oil. Slightly different price when you're trading CFD oil, and I unfortunately I did take profit at around 91, 92, and the rest of it was going to be just front running the 93. I expect this to move all the way up to 104, 105, but I wanted to get out of this trade completely and then see if I can get back in on it, if we can build a base above here to move up to 104 and see if we actually, go on to a new all-time high. And so with that, now we've got to do those other ones again. What was it? Sushi. Oh, you've probably written it down here. Sushi. Please, volume was turned off for all the TA. Sorry about that, guys. Right then, it's my USB. It's my USB. My mic is good. My computer is old. Right, so sushi, yeah. So it's surpassed its major area of resistance here, which might sound and seem like really, really cool. Oh no, it got rejected on it. Okay, fair enough. So just like the rest of the market, I'm expecting consolidations at this point. So the Bitcoin dominance suggests that. Almost every chart we've seen has hit this intermediate tier from the top targets that we've suggested. Sushi obviously clearly showing that on this. It doesn't mean that the trend is over or it's not got new all-time highs to form, but I think this is where we consolidate from in order to buy the dip, which would probably be on a 10 exponential, but be prepared for a 20 or a 21. That's basically a Bollinger Band center. And again, just like the uptrend as shown here, nice big move up. Catastrophic. Oh, it's all going down. Nice big move up. Oh my god, it's all over. We're going to die. All the way up. Oh my god, this is terrible. The Fed have ruined crypto. All the way up. Yeah. And then, the same thing's going to happen. So be prepared for over the next few days for everybody to start calling the end to crypto and the death and destruction of sushi and Bitcoin and you and me personally. That 200 exponential likes to move around a bit, doesn't it, today? Right. But yeah, so I'd expect a consolidation just like the rest of the charts, but this is a strong one. Do like it. Like we're really, really far ahead of the game when it comes to position on the chart there. And the 3-day, so the 3 days not quite the same. So we're hoping for continuation just based on the daily trend at this point now. And I'd be looking to navigate this when the money flow index starts to get overheated. So start to monitor your trade above 80 just to be safe. How high do we like to get on this? So we don't like to get too high on sushi, really. So we've had some resistances around the 80. So I'll be, considering we've moved quite dramatically so far already, I wouldn't wait for the 94, the 92 to 98 on a money flow index. I'd start to think about limiting exposure above 80. Is the sound still working? Yes, it is. Okay, that's good to know. Right, let's have a look. Also, what's your ideal leverage size for trading crypto? All right, okay. So, long story short, it depends on the environment that you're trading. If you're trading a setup that you found on a daily or a 4-hourly, for instance, then they're likely to yield decent moves on their own. So you might be looking for a 5-10% move based on those setups if you've got a decent one. And so you don't need much leverage. So you need I would use maybe 2 or 3 most of the time, maybe 5 if I was feeling extremely confident. But that's me doing futures with reasonably large amounts of money. So if I make a 50% gain, this is a lot of money. So if I get a 10% move on a chart with a 2x leverage, that's 20%. That's really good, and that's a lot of money. But I do sometimes do the crazy Wild West 50 to 100x jobs, but that would be in a very unique period where I'll be like, the market is volatile in a predictable way.
and I've got the time to commit to staring at a chart. Obviously, you know me, I'm very much focused around my kids, and so I don't have that kind of luxury to sit at the computer all day and clicking buttons. But as and when it happens, I have been known to use 25 to sometimes even 100x leverage, but I use a lot less money. I have a rule: if I'm going to do mad moves like that, I just use $500. That's all. Easy come, easy go. And obviously, I use a stop loss. Obviously, on all of them, I always use a stop loss. But just in the event that something went wrong, because they can do that, things can go wrong. It's only $500. And look, if I get a 5% move at 100x, that's a fair amount of cash right there. You know, that's a few grand I've made. But I would never dare do it with anything more than $100. It's just a rule I've set for myself. So there is no real answer to this. I've used as little as 1x on coin futures on Bybit. Why not? Why not do that? Increase the amount of I don't know, Bitcoin or XRP that you've got with a simple 1x. Easy stuff. That's all you're looking to do. But for the most part, if I was going to do a serious futures trade, I'd probably say I'd go for the 2 to 3x. But bear in mind, I'm using lots of big portions of cash really doing that sort of stuff. So it is still good money. Right, quick look at PundiX if we'll get a video on it at some point. No worries. I think we looked at this last week, and there was something maybe brewing on here. So even if there's not, I have this theory about PundiX, which is, you're probably all bored of hearing about it, but my theory of PundiX is that it, just like all the token swaps that I'm familiar with, whether it's StormX or Elrond into eGold, they all basically start with a dumping crash, and then they basically perform like they did when they were their previous token. That happened with StormX. It happened exactly with Elrond. Elrond went absolutely crazy in, 2020, and then it did its token swap, and then it went crazy all over again in 2021 as eGold. Now, PundiX used to be NPSX or something like that, and that chart looks like this for a long time. Looked like a pile of shit for a very long time, and then it went crazy. It was doing thousands of percents. But you have to be, no one would have known, really. The chart looked really shit, looked terrible, and then it just did it. So I'm going to assume that this will perform the same way that it did before when it was NPSX. But until then, you're just going to be sitting in I suppose, an investment, really, hoping that my theory becomes true. The chart, the Bollinger Bands are pinching quite tightly. We're above the centre. It's pretty of a shitty lame move, but we've had these big spikes like this, so it seems reasonable to imagine that we'll have the same kind of performance again, just these pumps and dumps. I don't have anything on this daily to suggest that it will. Let's check the 4 hourly. 4 hourly, golden cross, dump into this. Alright, so maybe we do get something form out of this one now. So ups and downs being supported on a 200 simple. No pump signal on this one either, unfortunately. So there's no buy signal to sweetener on this setup, which is a bit shitty, bit unfortunate. It doesn't want to load my 12 hourly, unfortunately. So maybe we'll just call it a day there on that one. So yeah, I just have a theory about it. So it might be worth maybe putting a grand in or whatever it is that you would consider to be screw it money for a long-term investment. Don't expect anything out of it in the short term. It might take years, but if it does do what I think it's going to do, maybe a year, 2 or 3 years down the line, it'll do like 10,000% or something like it did previous. But for the moment, it's just a bit of a pump and dump coin, really. But it can be aggressive, like we've seen that. But as to what leads it to be that aggressive, I don't know. But there's nothing on it right now to suggest that it will be. There's large bullish divergence on the Dixie weekly chart, suggesting that this could be a bit of a fake out, or you mean a fake breakdown. Let's have a look at that. I don't see the large bullish divergence, to be honest with you. It's not been downtrending long enough to get it. So if we're talking about weekly, I mean, no, not really. And I'm not. No, I'm just gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I agree that it's likely to get picked back up again. My expectation is around the 50 exponential moving average on the weekly, but right this very moment in time, it's just breaking down like I thought it would. So that is that. Right. KCS and any bot trading plans. So I've got bot trading plans, but for the moment I've not done them yet. Since I doubled my money in the first everything bounce using bots, I've just doubled my money again just by doing spot trades, and I will be doing bots again. But for the moment, I've neglected them. KCS USDT. Right. Okay. So that was quite reassuring actually. Just looking at that there. So everything's outperforming KCS, which is good and bad. I mean, it's good for me because, like I say, I've chosen the spot trading route in the short term, which is just trying to double my just get as much float as I can. And it's also good because KCS is proven to be weaker than the rest, so it makes it an appropriate bot trading pair. And also, if we look at this chart here, KCS on a chart basis is actually really good. So actually thinking about it might be worthy of going into KCS as a spot trade anyway. We saw this a while back, didn't we? So we got a pump signal on this daily right now, and we're above all major moving averages. It's only the 200 exponential and simple, which is above us, about 10% away from where we are. About 1150. So this, I think KCS is probably working on a breakout of its very own anyway. So it might be a decent spot position based on what we see there. So that's a good setup on the daily. Again, really looking quite sweet here on the 4-hourly as well. So maybe getting out of, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe if I get out of my positions now into Tether and on this pullback that we're going to get in the market, maybe starting from tomorrow or Sunday or maybe Monday, then maybe getting ready for bots by buying KCS, hopefully at a significant discount, maybe the upper nines, wherever this 200 exponential is. Maybe that would be great. That would be a really good entry point there, and only 6% further down from where we are right now. And that would be me getting ready for bots, because with the daily setup with that pump signal and a decent consolidation down to this area, backed up again with the 50 exponential, and then maybe a bounce all the way up here and then go into bots. I know it sounds a bit complicated, but it's probably just the way I'm explaining it. KCS looks quite good anyway, so maybe I'll get out of my positions and then go into KCS and then get ready for the bots. Right, I think we've already done all of those. Is that we did all of these, mate? We've done them all. They've all been done. Right, well, I'll tell you what, guys. It's been nice to open this up to the public for a little bit. I don't do this very often. I don't think I'll be doing it again for maybe a couple of months or so. Just a little sweet taster. If you wanted to join the Patreon, this is what we do twice a week. We're massive geeks. We like to look at charts twice a week. And for the most part, it can be quite insightful because everybody brings their own thing to the table, and it's things that we wouldn't normally look at, and sometimes it can be quite good. But if you want to join the Patreon, there's links, I think, in this description, but there are on my normal videos. It's £7.50 a month. You get 2 live streams a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Otherwise, just subscribe to the channel like you normally probably are, and I'll see you every morning. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I have a nice evening. Long story short, I'll be looking for a consolidation now to form higher lows across most of these things that we've seen, and then go on to make higher highs. It's pretty much that simple. But yeah, I think we are at that point now where this temporary peak, at least, has been set in, and this is the higher high of this run. Then we make a nice higher low, and then go on to make a higher high. It's pretty simple stuff, to be fair. But yeah, everything balanced 2.0 working out quite nicely. Right, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a good weekend. Take it easy.